Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 370 of the Hoots podcast, aka the podcast that Hoots. It's your boy Joshie coming to you live from the Break Free Room here in lovely Chicago, Illinois. Talk to you on this Thursday, July 20th, 2023. 30 episodes away from episode 400. It's going to be here before you know it. Anyways, I just want to say thank you and just want to send out my gratitude for each and every single one of you who take time out of your week to either watch the video editions of this show or check out the audio edition of the podcast. Sometimes I recommend more the audio version because you get more bang for your buck than the video version. Plus, nobody wants to see this mug for 2 hours. I'm kidding. Anyways, it is yours truly and the nefarious brother Adam, aka Joshie Lopez. You can follow me on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast. Also, hit me up at Instagram at Josh Lopez Media. Don't forget, I am covering the G1 Climax tournament right now. I'm taking the voyage of covering the G1 for you guys as a little token of my appreciation for all of you. And I think a lot of you are being misled when it comes to G1 coverage, and I will get to that a little later on. But this is the podcast of Hoots. It's not just a professional wrestling based podcast, but we do talk a lot about wrestling, but also give out some life advice. And this is a freewheeling show. It can go in many different directions. If you're easily offended, this may not be the show for you. I am blunt to a fault at times, but I hold true with who I am, and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything for anybody. And I do appreciate those who support the show for the last 7 years. This is, think about it. We're right around WrestleMania season. We'll hit 400 episodes of this particular show. Who would have thought it, right? So you guys saw the little graphic in the beginning of the show as we pay homage to Chester Bennington of Lincoln Park, who unfortunately passed away on this day about 6 to 7 years ago. And our thoughts go out to him and his family and everybody that suffers with mental health issues. I've been a big advocate of mental health, and those who watched the early stages of our podcast knows how much Lincoln Park meant to myself and Adam. And I just wanted to give a little shout out to Chester today, so that's why we put the graphic for the show today. So Chester, you're in our thoughts, and we appreciate everything you brought to the world, man. A lot of the stuff to discuss. Don't forget, the show comes out each and every single Thursday anywhere you get your podcasts from. Like I said, if you want to hit me up at Twitter, you can. I'm also on Threads at the Who's Podcast as well. But more importantly, if you guys could do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to our channel as we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. More importantly, make sure to follow us on Spotify and shut out our links on Spotify, especially the audio version, because it really does help expand the reach of the show. Not only that, we have to hit 100 unique Spotify listeners to qualify for ambassador ads. I'm still in furlough, so this could really help out not only the show, but myself in this current situation. So if you see the Spotify link, share it with your friends. We deeply, deeply appreciate it. I was having a little conversation with Brother Carter last night while Blood and Guts was going on, and I'm not sure yet when Brother Carter is coming off his hiatus, but hopefully soon, maybe during the football season. But he told me that going forward, following last night's show, that he's no longer giving his time to AEW, which I found that to be very interesting and pretty funny at the same time. Also, what's funny is that I got this microphone and I got this size hand. I got like the biggest hand in broadcasting with this mini ass mic here. So bear with me. I appreciate all of you who take time to hang out with me each and every single week, man. This week has been very busy, but in a productive way. And I've been going at it, man, with this project. I talked a little about it last week, about why I'm doing it, the process going within this process of working out and doing walking preps, why, doing the meal preps, why, having protein, why, boiled eggs, why, agua, why, zero sugar, why. This construction project that I'm on right now has been very taxing, but in a very good way. I've been pushing myself to go past a little bit over an hour each day of walking and just challenging myself. And I'm on a really good path right now. I feel loose. I feel lighter. I feel spiritually in a better place. I feel just motivated. I think right now, with the benefit of the fact that I'm still furloughed, the fact that I could have the time to go about this, I was gonna go this route either way, even if I had a job. But just to say that I had the time to 100% put my focus to strictly this project that I'm doing on, and whether results come through it, I let you guys decide whether if I'm making the right progress or not. All I know is that I am putting the time into this shit. I'm holding myself accountable, and I'm enjoying the process. So it's not easy, man. I'm testing myself. I'm seeing what I can and cannot do, and also the more important thing is just being consistent and just doing this. And I appreciate everybody for the kind words last week when I was talking about this project. And for those who don't know, I'm shooting to either lose 205 pounds or get to 205 pounds. However that goes, it'll go, and I will accomplish that. And right now, I'm not really like tracking where I am weight wise because it's just I have an extensive project. This is going to take a while, and really, the more important thing I need to focus on is how I feel about myself, because that's the only reason to do this. If I'm not feeling better about myself while I'm working out and having my getting cramps in my leg, both my legs feeling like on fire half the day, half the time throughout the week. To be honest with you, it's worth it. It's worth the pain. It's worth going through this process, and I'm holding myself accountable to be consistent with this and going through it my own way. And when I do share out the links to how I did, or for a particular rep or whatever, it's not in a way of boasting or anything like that. I'm showing it to hold myself accountable and see what I need to do to finish higher with my last rep for particular days. So, for example, Mondays, I do 4 reps of 15 minutes. Each rep I do walking wise, just in general throughout the week, I add stuff with dumbbells as well. And then after that, like I do that for Monday and Tuesdays. Wednesdays, I go 3 times for 20 minutes. And the goal is always to hit at least an hour a day of walking, or at least get 5 miles in between that, in between those walking sessions. And I'm just trying to make the best out of it, you know? So I know I've been spamming my IG stories and Facebook with all this stuff, but really all it is just to hold myself accountable and see where I'm at and see what I need to do to up each rep. Because I remember this when I was playing football. It was very important to finish your last rep, finish your workout wise, finish your last rep playing wise better than how you started. And I took in that approach with this, and I'm making steady progress. And I think I've been at this now for almost a month and a half, almost 2 months. It's really, I really started right there once I moved here in this new apartment, and it's been good, man. I've been very blessed and fortunate to have the support system I had throughout this process with my family. Like I said, I'm living now with my grandparents from my dad's side of the family, and I got my Titi Lucy and Uncle Jose, who've been fucking awesome, and their encouragement and support throughout this whole process. And my aunts helped me a lot, specifically, especially with the meal preps, which is very important as well. I can't be more grateful for them, because it's just encouragement, and it's stuff that I didn't really have at the other place. And again, being accountable and not making excuses. You know, I didn't know how to cook. I didn't make the best choices when I was on my own as far as what I wanted to have for food. Just food. More times than not, I would eat once a day, and really, it doesn't really matter how much you eat in a day. It's really what you're intaking and how much you're going about it. And you know, everybody talks about modifications and portions and stuff like that. And I let myself loose, and I'm just holding myself accountable to it. But that's in the past. I'm not even worried about that. Right now, it's just taking it one week at a time. I'm having a blast, man. This apartment is it's been fantastic. I enjoy the layout. It's been here. My dad and his buddies who really um, made this a reality because the last tenants really didn't do much when they left. There was a lot of cleaning up they had to do in this place, and I could be more blessed with this situation. I remember even before I decided that I wanted to go to this route and start this project, I was working on the side with my dad, um, doing deliveries and helping him out with the food route. He sells like Italian beats and pizza puffs and does deliveries around the city. He's like an entrepreneur in his own way, and I was doing it for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I just wanted to help out. And I knew I wanted to go this route for a while. I didn't need people to tell me that I needed to go this direction. More times than not, in most situations, anything anybody tells you about me, there's probably a good chance I've already said it to myself. Uh, and that can be good and bad. I will admit at times I am my own worst enemy, but I hold myself accountable. And whatever bad thing anybody has to say about me, I I there's filters that I had to sift through because people will talk out of both sides of their ass and make assumptions about people without having a genuine conversation about me. That stuff really doesn't matter. But as far as stuff that I do need to improve on, like I already say that to myself. So regardless, I wanted to help my dad out. Obviously, he he's the man. The amount of grunt work he does, not just with the route he has, but also the other projects he does during the weekend. I don't know how he does it, to be honest with you. I get a lot of my work ethic from him and my grandpa, from both sides of the family. I think that's one of the good things I was blessed from the man upstairs, is just having good genes being passed down to you, not just like playing music wise, but you know, having natural wit, making people laugh, not taking myself too seriously. Um, Going back again, work ethic and being focused and disciplined. I got that from both sides of my family, and I lucked down in that way. So, anyways, I wanted to help him out. I needed to start getting some money again because when I got furloughed, it was right in the middle of tax season, and that really messed me up bad. And I needed to start filling up my bank account again, and I wanted to help him out. I had a brief accident where I messed up my ankle, got a bad ankle bruise. The third week of doing it, well, it was literally, I don't know, like our third or second to last stop on the delivery that day. Messed up my ankle. It was a rainy, gloomy day. We're in the south side. I messed up my ankle and just really, that was really the tipping point of me. Like I needed to take it more seriously and just start actually doing this. And I've been thinking about going this route for a while now, and a lot of that situation when I messed up my ankle is really the thing that pushed me over the edge. Like enough's enough, man. I'm sick of feeling like this. I'm sick of this going through this process like this. I need something to challenge me. I don't have my job. I need something just to do something. And obviously, yes, there's a lot of beneficial aspects to this process, of course, with it being my health and being cognizant and being responsible with that. I get that 100%. But really, the main reason why I'm going through this and going through this process is because I'm really trying to reshape how I see myself and how I want to see myself. Yes, having the onus and being responsible with how you go about your health and stuff like that is important, and I agree with that. But there's also life aspects that I need to take on with this process, and I'm doing that, and I think I'm doing a good job with it. So I just wanted to give you guys a little update about what's been going on with me before we started off with the show today, because we got a lot of stuff to get to. We got questions, we got the G1 to talk about, WWE a couple weeks out before SummerSlam, and of course Blood and Guts last night in Boston. So Really, right now, man, I'm just really happy. My 100% focus has been on this project, and it's been going good, and I'm being responsible and just doing it, and whatever comes through it. Really, at the end of the day, I'm just gauging progress on how I feel, and I'm gonna shock some people once all this is over. Um, and I'm just really excited to see what comes out of this in the coming months. Like we're already at almost at the end of July, so um, I'm excited to do this. And again, I just appreciate the encouragement that I've got a lot from my family since I moved here, and it's something I've been missing for a while and didn't realize how much I needed it more. It was good to have that time to heal at the other place and go through that process of being responsible. I think for me, I've always been mature and on top of things that are supposed to be important and stuff like that, but also um, never really took the time to really realize how much I need to love myself more. And um, it's too many times I try to do things just to make sure I make everybody else happy, while I wasn't making myself happy, And I can be honest with that. Um, you know, um, People could have their assumptions about me. People could think maybe I'm too quiet or too shy or whatever. I wouldn't be doing a podcast like this for 7 years if I was shy. I would not go into the realm of broadcasting if I was shy or didn't have enough confidence within myself to do something like this. Really, at the end of the day, I'm very cognizant of the energy that I surround myself with, and I have a really hard time trusting people and letting people in. And how the hell can I set myself to let other people in within my energy if I'm not really paying attention to me and loving who am I? Why should I expect people to care about me if I don't care about myself? So um a lot of things has come in a positive light in the last 10 years of doing broadcasting, doing transcripts and stuff like that. But again, I can't satisfy everybody, and really that should not be the goal of people when they go through their life. Like you can't wake up every day and just feel like you have to impress everybody and make sure everybody else is happy. If you're not straight, that it doesn't matter at the end of the day. And that again, it goes back to mental health and just health in general. And um that I'm just being 100% honest with you guys. Like I could try my best with my work stuff and all that, but if I'm not taking care of myself and I'm not really taking the time to really reevaluate how I see myself, what's the purpose of being here? And don't get me wrong, I didn't feel like I was ultra lonely at the other place, but there were times where this got really quiet, and days go by, you're spending 60 hours a week doing the transcripts, and you're forgetting a lot of things that you need to put other attention to. And that's the thing, I don't have the answer to life, nobody else does. I just view things and just let things come to me. I really especially recently, just taking things one day at a time and really understanding to be present within myself and knowing that, okay, if I don't hit this benchmark at this certain time, or if I don't get these amount of numbers for a podcast or whatever, all this ancillary shit really doesn't matter at the end of the day. I really need to take the time to see what makes me me. And why do I love myself? Why haven't I loved myself? Which I should say here. And right now it's just I'm taking the time for me and focusing on me, and that's all I could say about it. So, all right, took the first 20 minutes of the show on this. I wasn't really expecting to do that, but hey, man, this is a live podcast. We shoot from the hip, loose. um, you see the title of this week's episode is called "This a Good Time," and I'm going to pose the question for everybody that's watching and listening to this right now. Do you feel that right now it's a good time to be a wrestling fan? And be honest. Do you think it's a good time in the industry, or is it a good time to be a fan? because there's two distinctions that I'm really going to address when it comes to this week in WWE. Because if you go on Twitter and see that discourse, or you see podcasts like this and this general discourse about professional wrestling, sometimes I wonder why people watch or cover wrestling at times. And everybody says, "Oh, it's a great time to be a fan." You see the stuff that's in AEW, in New Japan, and WWE, and there's this running narrative that we're in a boom period of the industry. But you go on these social media apps, and it's like, holy shit, why are we watching this stuff in the first place? Like, what are we doing here? Like, do we want to enjoy this stuff? So, really, be honest with me. And I'll read the responses on here on the show. Is it a good time to be a wrestling fan or not? I'm very curious to see you guys' responses. So, all right, let's get to this really quick. Speaking of a good time, I just wanted to get the move set here as we transition to the Q&A session. So, I'm going to play a song here, and really, this is to be a good thing for a lot of people. If you ever get down or just need a good laugh or just need to get a good vibe, the best thing to go to is music. And I always believe that it's true. So right now, I'm going to play a little bit of a song from Juvenile's Tiny Desk concert from NPR. And this song is called Project Chick. And the song is hilarious. If you're down or just depressed right now, you just need to get your mind off of things, enjoy some comedy here with Juvenile here for 2 minutes, and I'll get back to you with the Back Porch Q&A session. So here's Juvenile's Project Bitch here on the Hoots Podcast.
Ready? Let's get it. Sing it. Give me a project, bitch. Give me a hood rat trick. One that don't.
I gotta stand
And
up.
says he took that bitch.
This is for Keyshawn, East Lawn, Lil' Mama and her friends. Teresa, Tria, Tia, Leah, and Kim. I love y'all bros. Strict to my dogs, but I love y'all bros. Yeah, I love y'all bros. To the ladies, having babies without no drama. To my niggas with figures, say I love my baby mama. I bought shoes and tattoos and even fix your breath. I put you inside the flies ride, put an S on your chest.
And be putting him out on it. There's some everything out of it and they catching and swallowing it. It's the jewelry for Caesar. I'm off the easy, believe it. See, I get in between it and then I leave it so easy. When I come through in a road right, leave them when put the hopper pin in it, just let me get that cold boy. You be ready to rock it, just carry a nigga. Give me 3 minutes, maybe what you wanna. Give me a project, bitch. Give me a hood rat trick. One that don't give a fuck and says she took that dick. Give me a project chick. Give me a hood rat chick. One that don't give a fuck and says she took that dick. My mama sent me by my grandma. My grandma flipped out and said we ain't gonna have no evil in this house. So I rolled out. Scored me a house and sold out. But I fucked up when I started living up in these hoes out. A nigga started fucking one of the bras. And she was sucking a nigga dick good and keeping it hard. Letting the nigga come all over her chest and tongue. She was still on. I spared her cause of her children. She was a hoe. She gave me a behind a building. I'm selling records, but I'm out. To sell a million. If you wanna take it there, we could bring it out. It's all pussy and Gollywood, it's rigging it all. I sling this dick, summer, winter, spring, and the fall. It's actually laid down, and I'm bringing it all. I'm trying to hit you from the back till you holler good lord. This motherfucking dick, good and it always be hard. Give me a hood rat bitch, one that don't give a fuck. And say she took that dick. Give me a project bitch. Give me a hood rat chick. One that don't give a fuck. And say she took that dick.
Oh man. Gotta have a good time, right? We gotta have a good time. All right, let's get to the Back Porch Q&A session right here on the podcast at Hoots. As always, if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit us up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. We start off this week's questions as we always do with the good brother Chris Zaletta at XTeenZaletta24 Extra of the X, ladies and gentlemen. He says, "What up, Boost? Here's some questions for the Q&A this week. Best match from the G1 so far." Great start here. I think for me, the best match I've seen so far that I covered has to be Ren Narita and Shota Umino from night one, or Shingo Takagi and Aaron Hinari from the show I covered yesterday from day 4. So if you guys are trying to keep track, Shota and Ren Narita had a 20-minute time limit draw in night 1. And then Shingo and Hinari almost had a draw yesterday, but they're in the C block. Hinari had an upset victory over Shingo. So those are the two best matches for me that I've seen so far with the G1. But we got some barn burners to look forward to this weekend, and I'll get to that a little later on in the show. All right, let's continue on here. He says, did you get a chance to watch Slammiversary? I did not, unfortunately. I did see that Eric Young made his return to Impact. Good for him. It's his life. He wants to do what he wants. I'm just going to leave it at that. Thoughts on Dominic Mysterio winning the North American title? I thought it was a good decision. And Wes Lee is a character that's done a lot of good things in NXT and has had a really substantial run as the North American champion. I'm a fan of his work. No, I don't think Wesley got buried on Tuesday. That was a stupid talking point I saw the other day. If anything, Wesley and the people from NXT are going to benefit with this whole deal with Dominic being the champion. I thought it was cool. I popped. I did not see that coming. So Dom winning the North American title is not only good for him from an individual point of view, but if you look at the Judgment Day, right now, you got Rhea as the WWE Women's World Champion. Damian Priest has the Money in the Bank briefcase. And Dominic is now your new NXT North American Champion. Where does that leave Finn Balor as we get closer to SummerSlam? So, yeah, I thought it was a good decision. If you want to be a mark and talk about hot shot booking and I can't believe they did hot shot booking on NXT. I can't believe they buried Wesley in his long title reign just to give a title to Dominic. Like, just change the channel. Like, come on. Do you think Beth and Fina finished their unfinished business? I believe so. Isn't there a Payback pay-per-view that's coming up in Pittsburgh following SummerSlam this year? Don't be surprised if you see Beth Phoenix and Rhea at Payback. You heard it right here first on the Who's Podcast. I got no sources. What do you think we could give? What do you think we could be getting with Lashley and the Street Profits? It could be many of things. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, they're gonna bring back the Hurt Business. That could be the case. I'm fine one way or another, whether they come back or not as a group. MVP is a free agent. For those who don't know, him and Omos are free agents. Is Cedric and Shelton free agents as well? Hey, man. Things are deteriorating right now with the bloodline. So you got the LWO. You have a counterpoint there. You want to build up another hot faction as the bloodlines deteriorating. Why not bring back the Hurt Business? So, yeah, if anything, I think the Street Profits definitely need a change of presentation and be more bad guys. You want to turn Bianca Belair into a heel, I wouldn't have a problem with that. So I just want to see Lashley on my TV screen, whether or not this becomes the Hurt Business 2.0 or not. I really don't care. I just want to see Lashley on my TV screen. How did Kota Ibushi look to you last night after the last 2 years? Well, Chris, you'll get your answer in what the hell is wrong with AEW this week. Let's put this to rest. For the people that wanted Naomi in the bloodline, what do you say to those people now? I can understand the sentiment to have Naomi in the bloodline, but More times than not, when it comes, especially when it comes to wrestling Twitter and message board twats, I take a lot of their fantasy booking ideas with a grain of salt. I really don't put a lot of stock to it because they just think that you could build this to build that to build that. Everybody thinks they're an expert and creative, and half the time you listen to these theories or that freaking twat from Wrestle Talk, Adam Bland, plead, Mr. I'm the expert of all things booking. Go shut the fuck up already, dude. You pretentious twat. I can't stand that guy. Yeah, it's so simple to drop in Naomi in the bloodline. Oh, that just makes common sense. Oh, that's just you could put Naomi in there and she'd be a perfect fit in the bloodline. Okay, okay. Wrestling's that simple, right? Let's drop anybody in from faction, and that's just gonna work. Let me come up with my measly fantasy booking idea. That's gonna be the thing. That's the direction that we need to go. Stop listening to fancy booking stuff. You guys are doing yourself a disservice, and that's why you guys are not allowing yourself to enjoy these shows, because you keep stinking with fancy booking and not using your two sources, your left and right eye. Let your eyes tell you where things are going. This this could be a dangerous weapon. Yes, you could be smart. You could be a student of the game like I am. But you will never find me allowing my fantasy booking idea, which means next to nothing, get in the way of my enjoyment of this industry. I just don't get the ego of people that come out there with their chests out. Oh, you could just do this booking this way, this booking that way. Yeah, congratulations on that well-cultured wrestling promotion. I see why it went to shit. Just keeping it stacked here. All right, last question here for Chris. He says, if you're Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley, how do you approach this season with no new deal? Play and let your play dictate what your revenue is. There's really nothing you can do about it right now. The NFL just does not value running backs the way running backs these days should be paid. And people in the NFL and scouts and people have their analytic reasons behind that, feel that running back is a transitional position, and that you don't have to have a running back on your team for 6-7 years with a $180 million contract attached to it, because risk of injury, like I said, it's a position that you could shuffle in and out with different drafts. I feel bad. I feel bad for both guys. I mean, Saquon Barkley has every right to be pissed with the fact that he was one of the main reasons why the Giants even made the playoffs in the first place last year. As far as Josh Jacobs is concerned, the guy's just been dealt a bad hand with a organization that doesn't know what they want to do half the time. They get rid of John Gruden. They let go to Rich Bisaccia. We bring in Josh McDaniels. The guy hasn't had any stability with the Raiders, and that's unfortunate for him because he is a good football player. But Chris, I do want to thank you for the questions this week, my man. You killed it as always. Let's transition to the good brother Mike Rubio at Main Event Swerve. He says, what a boost. I'm on the road in Austin, Texas this week, near the home of the Great American Bash this month. Here are some questions for Back Porch. Number one, have you ever been on a trip, gotten a great gift, or maybe even a lavish meal you feel you didn't deserve? I'm honored, but that's how I feel here in a 2-room suite at times. No, I have not been in that position yet. I don't know. Maybe that would happen one day if I was working for the WWE or I was on this like big romantic vacation out of the country with my next relationship or whatever. I haven't run into that type of situation, but if that's how you feel, man, I'm happy for you. No, I haven't been greeted with gifts or anything nice from the hotels. No, I haven't run into that. Most of the times for me when I go travel, it's crazy, man. I can't remember the last vacation I had that had nothing to do with work. I mean, even when I was in Oviedo for 2 weeks in 2021, I was down there just half the time doing my transcripts, and I recorded 2 shows down there. Believe it or not, they're in the archives. You guys could go see it. I was there for 2 weeks in Oviedo, Florida, doing research on apartments, trying to find a house down there, and you know, at the time I was in my hotel, just to make sure I kept up with my transcript duties. So I haven't got a chance to really have a good experience. It's been a while. It has to be either the time I went to Puerto Rico while I was in high school, or golly, man. Yeah, it has to be the Puerto Rico trip in 2010 or 2011, whatever that was. Other than Survivor Series, is there any other wrestling event worth the trip for you in the next year? Yes. It's WrestleMania. I haven't been to Philly before, so I'd like to go there. And you guys have no idea how bummed out I was to not be in at WrestleMania this past year. Those trips to Mania are very important to me. Yes, I haven't had an opportunity to be in the press box yet, but outside of work stuff, I those trips do mean a lot to me, and to miss out on that, especially that particular WrestleMania, it really sucked. It really did. I was really excited to see that, and it was gonna be an opportunity where I was gonna be able to go see my sister and spend extensive time with her that I've lost out over these past couple years. So to not be able to make that happen because I was dealing with budget cuts the year prior and then losing my job, it was just shits. I'm just being honest. If there was something else wrestling big that catched my eye that maybe I would want to go to a different city, maybe. But right now, it's definitely WrestleMania next year. I don't know where the Royal Rumble is going to be next year. I hoped it was going to be Chicago, but hey, I'm not going to complain about Survivor Series. I think that's pretty cool that we're having Survivor Series here. By the way, don't you think it's a coincidence that Blood and Guts was in the same venue that Survivor Series War Games was this past year? No comment? All right. What are your thoughts on the power of prayer, especially for someone you don't know but are asked to pray for? The power of prayer is all in your hands, whether you actually do it or not. You, that's a tricky situation because when it comes to the man upstairs, man, I don't really try to be preachy as far as my faith or stuff like that. Really, I am into my connection with God, and really, the power of prayer is out of your hands more times than not. You know, but it's important to do that and not do it just for your own particular benefit. I pray for a lot of people. I pray for my sister that she's happy and healthy in a good place, and with her lady with Candace. I pray for my brother Adam. I pray for brother Carter. I pray for the people that care about me. I pray for my family, for both sides of the family. I do believe in the power of prayer, but also at the same time, it's out of my control. But again, I don't. When I go with this looking at praying for my own situation, I don't pray just for me. Even if it's somebody I don't know and they're in a bad situation, I'll pray for them. But again, I wonder if the question is, do I feel, is there a responsibility that I need to pray for somebody that I don't know? Well, if you're a half decent human being and somebody's going through some issues, or you want them to feel better or get their shit together, then I don't know why you wouldn't pray for them. So I do think the power of prayer is real, and don't take your relationship with the man upstairs for granted, because we're not here without him. So let's go to the next question. Do you think it is possible to have a meaningful relationship with God or whichever other supreme being you believe in without going to church? Yeah, I don't go to church, but I'm very into with my faith and my relationship with God. Honestly, when the shit was hitting the fan when I was in high school and everything that was going on at home. Really, it was the man upstairs that was keeping me straight and focused. I talked about this a little earlier today, but really, what helped me be in shape or working on playing football at that time when I was in high school, uh, basically the gist of it was that I was trying to do everything I can to just not be at home, and that's just to shoot. Really, with me, I really strive my best to stay away from bad energy, and that's just how it is for me. I don't have the want to participate in it or be surrounded by it or listen. I don't care for bad energy. Two, it's bad enough that people don't have the ability to see through themselves, that they aren't able to have good communication skills. And three, again, I just have no time or care for bad energy. And, it's just not good for you. And I was just dealing with too much of that during that time period. So, really, what kept me straight and not downtrodden and stuff like that, and I think that's really thanks to God. Would I be playing football and doing extra jazz band stuff? If I don't know, I think that's a blessing for him that he led me towards that path instead of going maybe into a bad direction, doing something I should have been doing. I was just, my focus was on making sure that I don't reach rock bottom and I feel empty inside. And I was just going through it. That was just really a dark period in my life. And really what kept me strong and really helped me start to become more mature for my age and independent, and how I kind of see things now with perspective is really from the man upstairs. So, no, I don't have to go to church to be connected with God. I don't thumb my nose, though, at people who go to church. More power to them. People have their own process. But that's just my opinion on it. Speaking of belief, what is your take on Jason Aldean's controversial song and video that recently got pulled off of CNC? Is he singing about small towns or sundown towns? I have no idea what he was singing about. But yeah, CNC is an early candidate for the CLAHN of the week. I can understand things that people want to cancel stuff. There's a lot of things worthy enough to be canceled. Jason Aldean's song is not one of those. So, yeah, I have no comment on that. Besides, CNC, you are a bunch of clowns. Would you ever, or have you ever had, read this. Would you ever, or have you ever had someone write something for you that you weren't comfortable publishing or sharing? No, I have not been in that situation yet. Also, again, this goes back to just being cognizant of who I surround myself with. If I knew somebody was writing about me, again, that's also something that's out of your control too, You know the truth. You know the truth about yourself. So again, how you want to go about it, if that's time you want to think about it, if that's energy you want to put into it, that's your prerogative. But no, I have not been in a situation where somebody wrote something for me that I wasn't uncomfortable with sharing to the public. Were you surprised to see Ilya Dragunov get a title shot at Great American Bash? I figured he would have to wait longer. No, I did not. I just didn't think they were going to do Braun Breaker and Carmel Hayes for 3 straight premium live events. So I thought Dragunov was the right choice, and I was glad that he won the match. Also, Jordan Devlin, JD McDonough is fine, but there are no creative plans for him right now. How would you bring him back onto TV? Stay tuned. I think sooner or later Finn Balor will get the boot out of Judgment Day, and Finn Balor will rely on Jordan Devlin. And who knows, maybe Finn starts a new group for himself. Just keep your eyes open on that. Also, when does Randy Orton return, and how would you do it? Good question. I have Randy Orton show up after Roman Reigns defeats Jey Uso. Spoiler alert, Roman Reigns will defeat Jey Uso at SummerSlam. Randy Orton confronts Roman Reigns to close out the show. That's just me. Or you could have um Randy Orton come out and confront Cody Rhodes on the Raw after SummerSlam. You can do a lot of things. That's just my opinion. What are your thoughts on Dirty Dom being long-term North American champion like more than 6 months? I don't think it'll be more than 6 months, but I have no problems with him being the North American champion. What is your favorite stadium/arena food you've had at a wrestling event? That's a good question. I mean, Allstate Arenas always give out some good food. I think the best food stuff related when it comes to stadiums and arenas here in Chicago is Comiskey Park. No, I'm not calling it Guaranteed Rate Field. So the Sox, where the Sox play, I think that has the best food in the city. But as far as wrestling events concerned, it would definitely be Rosemont. The food in Jerry World wasn't too shabby, to be honest with you. So there's seemingly 2 movies out for a while into the 2 strikes resolve. So would you rather see Oppenheimer or Barbie? I hope this doesn't make me lose testosterone points or whatever, but I'm curious to see Barbie. I just want to see what John Cena does in that movie, so it got me intrigued. So I want to see Barbie, and I don't know much about Oppenheimer, so if I had to pick one, I'll just go with Barbie. What do you think of the song Fast Car, especially the Luke Combs version? You are younger than me, but did you ever heard the original? Yes, I have heard the Tracy Chapman original song Fast Car. I think Luke did a good job. I thought it was a fine cover. He's got a lot of plays, and I think he does pretty well with the Billboard charts with this cover, right? So I think it's been good. What song were you most surprised to learn was a cover all time? That's a good question, man. Man, you're about to stump me on this one, man. Man, I did not know. Damn, that's too hard to answer, man. At first, I didn't know that "Rolling in the Deep" from Linkin Park was an Adele song. Yeah, I'm not that I'm not a fan of Adele, but I'm not too familiar with her music either. So I didn't know that "Rolling in the Deep" was a cover for Adele. So that's one for me. What is the best song with a place, city, state in the title? This may be a trick question, but it's closer to home more than you think. Um, no, this is very simple answer for me. It's New York by Snow Patrol. It's one of the best love songs I've ever heard in my entire life. It really hits home with my situation with Lauren. It really hit home with me. It's a great song. If you haven't listened to it, check it out. It's called New York by Snow Patrol. But also, New York Minute by Don Henley is a very good song as well. So I'll throw that one out there. What is the last sleep you have gotten in a 28... Hold up. What is the least sleep you've gotten in a 24/48 hour period, and what kept you going? Oh man, that's a good question. uh, okay, so you guys remember when Punk made his debut in AEW, right? So that weekend was a trip. So I went to the United Center for that show, the Rampage show that CM Punk made his debut in for AEW. I came back to the house, did SmackDown, 205 Live, and also did an article for Rampage that particular night. Now, mind you, this was going into a Saturday where this is really the time period where WWE is starting to do pay-per-views on a Saturday. So going to the next morning, I did a New Japan show. I woke up at 7 o'clock in the morning. After that, I did NWA USA. Then I covered SummerSlam in its entirety. Then I did a post show with Andrew Baydala and Blake Mitchell on the old S&E network shows. So in about 24 hours, I got about 5 hours of sleep. I covered 6 wrestling shows. I attended a wrestling show, and then I did a post show for a wrestling pay-per-view. So that weekend of August, I remember specifically because I remember that was the day Mitch Trubisky made his return to Soldier Field and kicked the Bears' ass in the preseason game. And that it was the night before Punk was back. That was a very emotional night. I came back, did my articles, woke up the next morning, did 2 articles, then did SummerSlam, then a post show. That was a lot, man. And then don't forget that next day on a Sunday was the NXT Takeover show where Cross took on Samoa Joe. So that was an interesting weekend. It was the August 20th, 21st, 22nd, all into once. Those 72 hours, I got just about, I don't know, 13 hours of sleep. I did get to sleep in a little bit on that Sunday, so that was good. But that Friday to Saturday transition, I was up for a good time, man. But that concludes our Q&A session for this week. As always, if you want to participate in the Back Porch Q&A session, all you have to do is hit us up at Twitter at the Hoots Podcast or the Hoots Podcast at gmail.com. When we come back, we'll get into what happened this week in WWE right here on the Hoots Podcast. All right, we're back. Time to talk about what happened this week in WWE. And we go back to SmackDown this past Friday night. Steady momentum of shows. SmackDown was in Raleigh, North Carolina this past Friday night. Speaking of SmackDown, tomorrow, SmackDown's on FS1. So make sure to find your local listings for FS1. And SmackDown will not be on regular Fox tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. But let's talk about what happened in the saga of the Bloodline. This past week on SmackDown, Jey Uso super kicked Paul Heyman, much to this delight of the WWE Universe and yours truly. Poor Paul Heyman got super kicked, and the way he fell down was just absolutely hilarious. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. Man, things are picking up, man. This in general for WWE. If you look at the ticket sales, ratings, I think SmackDown did another good number without Roman on this show. And that's just the power of the Bloodline story. There's a little narrative I keep hearing from people that said, oh, man, the Bloodline was starting to get stale before Sami Zayn joined the group. I think that's a bunch of grade A, homogenized, Holstein bullshit, if I'm being honest with you. No, I did not think that the Bloodline was getting stale before Sami Zayn. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Sami Zayn, but I think this was like LA Knight. I think wrestling Twitter and IWC in general just kissed that guy's ass too much. Sami Zayn brought a lot of great elements to the Bloodline, but to say that he saved the Bloodline and that the group was getting stale, I don't know about all that. I think that's a bunch of cap. But again, here we go again with people just basically adding asterisks because they can't admit that they're wrong about Roman Reigns. So what else is new? But, Heyman is playing mind tricks with Jay. He's saying that the tribal chief would be upset with him, that his father wouldn't forgive him, his mother wouldn't forgive him. Just all, just pulling the strings, just pure manipulation from poor Jey Uso. He gets into a brawl with his brother. Solo even said that he wouldn't forgive Jay for going after the tribal chief. And now Jay super kicked Paul Heyman, which leads us to tomorrow night where we're having this rules of engagement. Now, what's going to happen tomorrow night on SmackDown? We're all will be in the palm of hands of the tribal chief Roman Reigns. Here's the deal. They called the Usos Roman Reigns Souls Colt match at Money in the Bank, the Bloodline Civil War, or whatever. I don't know if this will be an actual name for a match, but if you're doing this rules of engagement, you're either going to have a tribal warfare match or a tribal consequences match. You guys remember when they had the Hell in the Cell match where Roman said that Jay was going to suffer severe consequences? I'm very curious to see how this interaction goes this time tomorrow. Whether or not that leads to Jey Uso getting the beats and getting his ass kicked, which I could see happening. Don't get me wrong. We still have a couple weeks out before SummerSlam, but tomorrow's going to be very interesting. I think SmackDown is sold out tomorrow in Orlando, by the way. So it's on FS1. You got the rules of engagement. Here's the deal. If it's me at SummerSlam, you already know it's going to be Roman and Jey for the Universal Championship. Make it a tribal consequences match, something like that. I'm very curious to see what happens. Does Roman fully kick Jey out of the NOI family? Is he like, you're going to exile? I send you to exile. Is it gonna be like Lion King 2, where Simba kicks out the guy that was flirting with his daughter or whatever, the nephew of Scar? I forgot the name of the that lion's character, but you know what I'm talking about, right? I sentence you to exile. So I'm curious to see how that segment's gonna go, man. The Tribal Chief does not miss. Speaking of not missing, how about the Brawling Brutes in Pretty Deadly? That was a pretty good match. I enjoyed that very, very much. Also on the program, we had a Fatal 4-Way match, which started out this new number one contenders tournament for the U.S. Championship. Michael Cole proceeded to bury Austin Theory on commentary. I did not see that coming. And so Santos Escobar won the first Fatal 4-Way match. Tomorrow, there's another 4-Way match, which is, I think, LA Knight, Rey Mysterio, Cameron Grimes, and I forgot the fourth person, but Sheamus. Sheamus is in the fourth one. So whoever wins that one will take on Santos Escobar. You could read the tea leaves here. Whoever wins that match will find a way to fight Austin Theory at SummerSlam for the U.S. title. More or less, you probably see LA Knight win the match, and then he'll be the one to fight Austin Theory at SummerSlam. And people could calm down and put the lotion and the napkins away over LA Knight, because he'll finally get his prop and everybody can rejoice. So LA Knight, I think, will get the win for this 4-Way in this U.S. Invitational. But again, it just amazes me. Like, LA Knight needs to have a prop. He's so over. He's always these twats like that Kicking with Ross guy on YouTube that does nothing but reaction videos and talks nothing about booking the entire time as if he wrote the book on booking. Oh, he's so over, so he needs to be the guy. He needs to win the Royal Rumble. Like, come on. There's fantasy booking and what you think booking is, and then there's reality. I'm not saying that LA Knight cannot be a main eventer in WWE, but just because the guy is getting pops from the crowd does not mean that the guy is going to be the face of the company. Like, I know the bar is low with today's wrestling, where we hear noise, so that means that that person needs to be get the rocket strapped attached to them and pushed to the moon. And now we're going to try to replicate what happened 10 years ago with Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. We saw how that worked out, right? I'm a fan of LA Knight. I'm not going to turn on him, but, he's getting TV time, and people act like, the company's holding him back. The company's holding LA Knight back. They won't let him succeed. He's getting organically over. I just watched the podcast. I won't name what it was. but one of the co-hosts went on a 3 minute soliloquy over a report that Dave Meltzer said about LA Knight. No, not about LA Knight, but about Sami Zayn supposedly being viewed as a fluke, and that the people behind the scenes did not think that he legitimately earned the reaction and the push that he had, and he got over by accident. Blah 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 blah. And to see it, I saw it with my two eyes. People getting worked by a report by Meltzer. Now, whether that sentiment is true or not, I don't know. And two, I don't give a shit. I really don't. um, what else, really quick, we could talk about here on SmackDown? Oh, I forgot to mention Shotzi Blackheart. I really like to see. I liked her little promo that she had after the match with Bayley and Selena, where she's cutting her hair, and we know that she's cutting her hair to support her sister. So our thoughts and prayers go out to Shotzi and her family about that whole situation. And I thought it was a very good promo. And then you got JD from New York being JD from New York, and nothing else needs to be said there. Anyways, let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Raw this past Monday was awesome. I think this may be one of the best Raws of this entire year. I think from top to bottom, this show was fantastic. The crowd in Atlanta, you guys deserve a round of applause for the job that you guys did during that show, man. Everybody in the show, whether it's on a feud that people may be indifferent about, the Viking rules match with Alpha Academy and the Viking Raiders was fantastic. Maxine getting speared through the table. Titus O'Neil on commentary. Otis's comeback towards the end of the match was sick. That little spot where Ivar, they do this thing where the Viking Raiders, they do like a springboard clothesline German suplex combo, right? So they're going for it. Otis catches Ivar in the air. It's not clean the entire way, but even then, he does the power slam. The crowd still pops for it, right? And then he does the worm. And talk about maximizing your TV time. Alpha Academy, they're doing it, man. I get it. They haven't won a lot of matches recently, but they're being very successful. Which brings in another question about, oh, why doesn't WWE put more emphasis on tag teams? And then, oh man, this is such a brutal JoJo Dutch tag team division. Brawling Brutes, Pretty Deadly, The Judgment Day. We had Imperium, that's 4. Alpha Academy, the Viking Raiders. I just give you 7 different tag teams right there off the top of my head. The show started off this past Monday with Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes in his hometown. A big week for Cody Rhodes. They dropped the trailer for his new documentary that will be airing on Peacock on July 31st, which is not this Monday, but the Monday after that. And very excited to see that. It's Cody Rhodes becoming Cody Rhodes. Guys, for those that listen to the podcast, knew that I had my criticisms and my reservations about his run in AEW. I was critical and I was not a fan of what I was seeing, but getting to see the transition into what he did in WWE when he came back, I was able to see that I was wrong and I was looking at it from the wrong perspective, in that Cody is the man. And I could, here's the thing, a lot of people out here that do shows like this don't have the ability to do, they can't admit what they're wrong. I was wrong on the American Nightmare presentation, but it also shows you, no, I'm going to say that for later on. You guys know what I'm about to say. When it comes to Cody Rhodes, man, the guy's killing it on all cylinders. Right now, if you ask me my opinion, I think if you want a representation of what Bret Hart is in the WWE in this modern era, it's Cody Rhodes. And he's doing it to the T, man. Giving the weight belts to the kids, the crowd pops, the matches, the promos. Cody's the man, man. I changed my tune on the guys, and it's not just because he came back to WWE, man. Just look at the body of the work that he's done since he come back, and people are still just tied down to this whole WrestleMania deal. That, oh my God, it's the worst booking decision ever that Cody didn't defeat Roman at WrestleMania 39. Yet they seem to choose to ignore the crowd reactions that he still continues to get, and still try to come up with the most idiotic reasons. Say, oh, see, that's the reason why he's losing momentum. Oh, he's being booked to be look like an underdog and a babyface, which is his role the entire time. So why are you talking about both sides of your ass? Like, this is something I wanted to talk about on the show today. This is how people argue and get into debates about professional wrestling. And one of the silliest arguments or takes that I see out there is I talked about it ad nauseum about, people over relying, trying to act like they're the experts in booking and all that. It's not just that. But when I see tweets like, this decision does not make sense, hashtag WWE logic. Well, one, it's their company. They have their right to have their own logic. It's their product. You would think they have the right to tell their stories how they want to tell it. Two, it's a subjective form of entertainment. None of this stuff is real. I think I've been able to really enjoy the aspects of professional wrestling because I knew when I was a kid that this wasn't a sport. So when I look at how things are going, wins or losses wise, you're not going to hear me talk about hot potato and hot shot booking or, like I saw this the other night. Oh, Brock Lesnar beating up Cody Rhodes in his hometown didn't make sense. Okay, like I'm struggling to find the words when I hear that because it's like, what? So you're upset that Brock Lesnar beat up Cody Rhodes in his hometown, so that doesn't make sense to you. So because you didn't like it, it means it doesn't make sense, right? It's just I just don't get that line of thing. That's your opinion, and you're entitled to it. But to say that Brock Lesnar beating up Cody Rhodes in his hometown in front of his mother did not make sense is just a stupid ass take. I hate to be blunt here, but I'm just being honest. How does that not make sense? The concept of, why are you making your babyface look so weak against Brock Lesnar? It's Brock fucking Lesnar. Oh, where's the story here? Why is Brock so upset at Cody Rhodes? He's Brock Lesnar. And again, we watch these shows. There's going to be a new episode next week of Monday Night Raw, right? SummerSlam is not this Sunday. No, not this Saturday or the next Saturday. We got time left before SummerSlam. You don't think we're going to hear anything for Brock Lesnar beforehand? Where we mix in opinions and twist it into facts or logic, it's just one of the silliest things I see out there when it comes to wrestling Twitter. It really is. To say with a straight face that Brock Lesnar, a heel, getting good heat from the crowd, beating up the hometown hero right in front of his mother, is saying that doesn't make sense because you didn't like that decision or that's how you wouldn't go about that angle. It's a stupid ass take. Just because you don't like it does not mean it does not make sense. The premise of professional wrestling does not make sense. So you trying to act like you're the smartest person in the room and doing these mental gymnastics just to say, oh, you just want to be the opposite guy in the room. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it, man. I really don't. And then it's the age-old thing where we have double standards. Okay, one thing is good for this company, but when somebody else does it, it's an issue. And then we get into arguments, right? For example, I haven't brought up AEW while we talked so far about this WWE segment, but I'll bring it up here just for example, right? If, let's say, me and you are having a debate right now about WWE, whether their product is hot or not or whatever, I would have a conversation and tell you that I think it's hot for this reason and that reason. And then you would come back at me and bring up something that has to do with AEW when we're having a conversation about WWE. And that's wrestling Twitter in a nutshell. These nimrods spend nearly 10 hours out of their day picking fights, coming up with strange conspiracy theories, coming up with things just to justify their shitty opinions that they got from Meltzer and Alvarez, and trying to act like they're the hottest takes out there, or JD from New York, or whoever, and act like their shit don't stink. And this they can't have a conversation without bringing up something that has nothing to do with the conversation they're having in the first place, right? If we're having a debate about WWE, why the fuck are you bringing up AEW, or vice versa? When I do what the hell's wrong with AEW, I'm not talking about WWE. I don't know, man. Is it too hard to stay on topic when we're having a constructive conversation? Is it bad enough that you how about this one? Like, you have a disagreement over a topic, right? Like, for example, I don't believe that Cody had to win at WrestleMania or else. I say that, and then somebody will come back at me and be like, "Oh, you're a shill. You're this, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah." Like, that's your best route of going back. That's the best response you have. It's like labeling, yada yada yada. I just come on here and give you my opinion by watching the show and not relying on dirt sheets. And I'm a shill because I don't believe that Cody Rhodes had to defeat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. That makes me a bad wrestling fan. That makes me lose credibility in the IWC. Fuck the IWC. Seriously, fuck the IWC. If that's what it is, that we can't have a civil discourse about professional wrestling, and we had to talk in circles and name call each other and had to bring up other companies just to prove our point. I just think that's just lazy, and that tells you what the IWC is in general. So there was a lot of other stuff that happened on Raw this past Monday. You had congratulations to Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green on becoming the new Women's Tag Team Champions. We saw Shinsuke Nakamura get upset at Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa cost Nakamura his match with Bronson Reed. Looks like Nakamura's going to get an edge attached to him. Also, shout out to the main event, Judgment Day, on their losing effort to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the tag titles. I thought that was a very good match. And also, don't forget, go back to see that Finn Balor and Seth Rollins backstage segment. I thought that was very good backstage segment. So, also, Gunther and Riddle, can you add these two to the G1, please? Like, can we get rid of Yano and I don't know, Gabe Kidd or something? Like, I'd much rather see Riddle and Gunther in the G1 than those two twats. But all in all, I thought Raw was pretty good. You know, SummerSlam's shaping up right now. We got Jey Uso, Roman Reigns probably be announced tomorrow. You already know that Cody's fighting Brock. We have Seth and Finn for the World Heavyweight Championship. So I'm kind of curious to see where these are going to go from here. But to go back to what I was just saying a couple of minutes ago, it's like, I always hear about, oh man, it's a great time to be a fan. Look, WWE's hot right now business-wise. You get their numbers, you see what they're doing merchandise-wise. They're selling out these arenas for these TV shows and pay-per-views. And they're already pumping out tickets right now for the WrestleMania. Man, I lucked out with the travel package I bought for Dallas a couple years ago. Man, since they did this whole deal with On Location, it's like next to impossible. It's like paying an arm and a leg to get the real good seats that you want at these shows, because this new deal that they got, it's wild, man. It really is. So, yeah, like, but going back to what I was saying earlier, it's like I see people talk about how great of a time it is to be a wrestling fan, And I agree with that to a certain extent. Like, don't get me wrong. When I was looking into the summer and how I was gonna go about the show, I didn't know if there was gonna be weeks where we talked about wrestling or not, because sometimes during the summer period the business is kind of slow, and you gotta wait to SummerSlam time. But I was thinking about that because Brett Carter was going on hiatus, and I have enough confidence to figure out to pump out a good entertaining show each and every other week. But sometimes the industry goes in waves and stuff. But it's really a testament to all the companies putting out good content. Punk came back to AEW. Things are getting hot for WWE. The Bloodline's still hot. Cody's on another level. Seth, etc., etc., etc. I've had stuff to talk about here. And I believe in the industry, it's a great time for pro wrestling. But as a fan, I don't know if that sentiment is the case. I think, yes, it's great to be a fan of wrestling, that you have all these options to watch for pro wrestling and go to all these shows. But the fandom aspect of pro wrestling, I don't think it is a great time to be a wrestling fan. I really don't. The fact that we can't have a civil conversation about a wrestling topic, and because I disagree with your opinion, that makes me a shill. It's a funny thing for me, because since I've done this show, I think I've shown the ability to have a nuanced conversation by attaching context and, again, substance to what I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about both sides of my ass. When I say something, it's how I feel. And with my time covering the industry, and I don't need Seltzer or whoever to form my opinions or talking points. But again, it's like, if I see a flaw or a lazy take out there, it's within my right to point it out. That does not make me a shill or a e-drown or whatever. If I find a flaw in a lazy ass take, I could point it out if I wanted to. Do I do it all the time? No. But again, it's just funny to me. People say, "Oh man, it's such a great time to be a wrestling fan." I don't know if that's the case or not, because people find the littlest things to shit about wrestling and stuff that just really doesn't matter at the end of the day. That's why I talk about it each and every other week, about the people's fascination with booking and what's the right thing or wrong thing to do. I get it. We all do with all our favorite TV shows. But these people act like they're legitimate experts and think they can do it better than people who actually do it for a living. I'm not going to come here and insult your intelligence and tell you that I can do a better job than Bruce Pritchard. That's just fucking stupid. Do I have to agree with everything that goes on with WWE? No. Is everything great? No. I still think the Raw commentary team sucks. There's stuff, of course, that can be improved. But it's not just the tribalism, but it's just like the stupid ass takes. And it's like, if I disagree with you, I get labeled this. If we have a conversation about WWE, you got to bring in AEW to make your point seem more valid. Nope, I don't get that. But again, that's wrestling Twitter for you, and that's just wasted energy. That's why you listen to the Hoots podcast, because I just keep it straight and just speak for me. You can agree or disagree with how I look at the wrestling business, and that's perfectly fine. All I ask is for people just to think for themselves. That's all it is. So that's that. All right, it's time for our first week 1 report of the G1 Climax. New Japan G1 Climax 33. New Japan Climax. So New Japan started the G1 on this past Saturday. I started covering the show, and I got the reference sheet that I made here for the G1. I'm going to show a little bit here for you guys as we go through this. And I'm going to do this every week as we go through this process. And for guys who don't know, I am covering the G1 right now for my website, ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com, which I would hope you guys like and retweet when I share those articles out on Twitter. And just bookmark the page in general. It would really help expand the reach of the website, because I definitely could use the help right now. But yeah, as the G1 continues, I'll do weekly reports here on the podcast, and that's what we're gonna do right now. So let's bring this up here on the screen so you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm gonna add a little bit of a rant here because I need to get some stuff off my chest. But right now, you're seeing my page, my website. This is ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. This is the homepage here. So all these I've done since the last transcript I did here on this site was January 30th. And then the last one I did for Lords of Pain was the end of February. Anyway, so here's the reference sheet. I attach it to every G1 show that I cover. And really what it is like a guide to see how things are going with the tour, the standings. For example, like right here is where the participants, where you can find who's in which block. Here's the standings. I update it after each article that I do. And then down here is the lineup cards. And I use this not only as a point of reference for myself when I make the outlines for the transcripts, but it's a point of reference for all of you who are watching this. So I also updated the results here too. So I do it like that. And then we'll talk about these matches in particular right here. But really right there, that's the reference sheet that I use to follow along with my coverage of the G1. And here's an example of what a G1 article from yours truly would look like, right? So this is from day 4. This was yesterday's show. This was a C and D block show. So still see, right? You see the participants for the block, so you don't get confused. I pointed out what their points are. Like Zack Sabre Jr. has 2 points so far. Toriano had 0. They started off the show yesterday. Get a little clip of the show and write out what the match was. So this was a very short match. Zack Sabre Jr. won with a roll-up. Another example here, David Finlay and Mikey Nichols. Both of them were tied with 2 points. Look more effort that's put into the match. David Finlay defeated Mikey Nichols. Now, if you see that, yeah, it's a paragraph of moves, but what I'm showing you is the different parts of the match. So right here, this with the experience, I've been able to pinpoint what are different parts of matches, and especially with covering New Japan, it's very easy to follow their structure of what their matches are. And also, my goal is when you read a transcript, especially when it comes to like the match portion, I want it to be a theater of the mind. So as you're reading it, you can visualize it as it's happening. And it's the same thing with all the other matches here. Jeff Cobb and Alex Coughlin, the shorter match, only needed 2 paragraphs. Eddie Kingston and Evil, pretty solid match, 3 paragraphs. Tanahashi and Shane Hayes, Clash of Styles. Tanahashi won 3 paragraphs. This one here, Shingo and Hinari. Now, these paragraphs could vary here and there depending on the length of the match and how good the matches are, too. Like, this one went to the wire. Shingo and Aaron Hinari yesterday almost went to a draw, so it had 4 paragraphs just for this match alone. So, I'm showing this for a particular reason because I've been very discouraged by what I'm seeing with the coverage of the G1 from other sites, and I'm just keeping it stack here, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. So let's start with WrestleZone. You see the effort that I put in my G1 transcript for this show yesterday. Let's take a look at this from WrestleZone. Okay, some information from where the show is at. Results. They don't even do their own coverage. They get the results from Cage Match, so at least they're doing due diligence by giving credit to other people. Zack Sabre Jr. So here's the easy results there, and then a couple of Twitter clips here and there for that day's particular show, which is just pure and utter nonsense, to be honest with you. So you look at this. Um, did I get that on here, the screen? No, sorry about that, guys. um, hold on here. Let me do this. Didn't even show. I thought I'd be able to show a different thing, but here we go. This is what I'm talking about. So here we are. We're on Russell Zone. This is on the same tab, right? Little article here about the show. Not even like 2 or 3 sentences. Measly results right there. I said you give the due diligence to cage match. And then a Twitter clip attached to it. And that's it. This is WrestleZone's coverage, right? And it's not just that. Like SC Scoops, for example. The same thing. Standings. So-and-so beat so-so. So-and-so beat so-so. And one paragraph about the show. What's the point of covering the G1 if you're going to put next to zero effort to it? Fightful. Let's look at this. Now, Fightful, they do this a lot too. Where, okay, for example, this is their 9-4 coverage here, right? So, again, results and updated points. And Twitter clips. That's all it is. If I was somebody in New Japan Pro Wrestling, I would be pissed with this because it's just half-ass effort with covering these shows. I'm giving you detail. I'm putting the time with the matches. I'm actually trying out the match as it is. I'm not giving a booking take. I'm not giving out star ratings. Like, I'm really putting effort into these matches. Like, it takes me a while to do these type of articles. Not only that, I'm not doing these quick results where you see the standings. I'm putting effort like this one, Naito and Goto, law match. You see all the words there, right? Here we go. Ishii and Tonga was the main event. Going down here, that was 3 paragraphs. I don't even get to the standings until the end of the article where I updated it for that particular day's show because it's a C&D block show. So I give it there. And then not only that, look at this. Post-match comments. Zack Sabre Jr., Mikey Nichols, David Finlay. I'm adding the post-match comments from both shows on the tour. I'm not saying that you have to do the transcripts like I do, but if you're going to cover the G1, actually put some effort and thought to it. Just copying and pasting what the results are from other sides and just adding their wins and loss records is just embarrassing. It's unfortunate. You wonder why people don't care about New Japan coverage or don't give the clicks that's needed to pay people like me to do work. Because the people who own the sites and then the people who they allow to do coverage of New Japan shows put next to no thought or effort or care to it. So how do you expect your audience or your consumers to care about your New Japan coverage if you don't give a fuck about it? I get it, New Japan is a niche product, but can we put some thought and effort into this shit? Like, I'm doing these articles for free, and I'm putting twice the effort into these G1 transcripts than anybody else is doing that's out there right now. It's embarrassing. Like, I give credit to Post Wrestling because they do these daily recaps of the G1 once the shows are over. But even then, here's the quick results for the day. I'll give you two paragraphs here and then a bunch of Twitter clips under it. Why are you covering the G1 in the first place? I don't get it. So, as I just went off on my rant there, let's talk about the G1. Right now, as it stands here for the A block, let's bring this back up. All right, got it right here. So, right here in the A block, Sonata and Kaito Kiyomiya are tied with 4 points. Kaito Kiyomiya has victories over Shota Umino, which is a very solid match from Tuesday, and he defeated Chase Owens in his first match. You had Sonata getting 4 points. It's very good. I bet Kaito Kiyomiya defeated Yoshitsuji, by the way, not Shota Umino. Those two guys are fighting each other tomorrow. But the rest of the block has Chase Owens, Gabriel Kidd. Renderia has 2 points from the 2 draws that he has. Umino and Suji and Hikuleo are in the bottom of the block here. As far as the B block's concerned, Okada and Taichi are tied for 4 points. Both of these guys are fighting each other on tomorrow's show from Nagata. We have a second place tie with Kenta, Tangaloa, Will Ospreay, and Yoshihashi. El Phantasmo and the Great Khan all hail round out the block there for the B block. They mentioned this on the broadcast, but there's gonna be a playoff element to the G1 this year that hasn't been there for a while. Like the first 2 people with the most points for each block will advance to like a round, not a round robin tournament, but like a regular tournament, and it's gonna be like a playoff format. So it's gonna be very interesting. Like here in the C block, you got David Finlay and Evil are off to hot starts. Those two will be in the main event of Sunday's show. They have 4 points. Hanari, Eddie Kingston, Mikey Nichols, and Tama Tonga have 2 points, but Ishii and Shingo we're at the bottom of the blocks. You know, it's pretty interesting. And then you got the deep block. You got Jeff Cobb and Zack Sabre Jr. at the top. And then you got Naito, Tanahashi, Goto, and Shane Hayes tied with 2 points. So everybody with the B, C, and D blocks have 0 points for their bottom spots. And then you have Suji and Umino with 1 point for their respective ties. And Hikuleo, who hasn't won a match yet. So those are the updated standings. There have been some very, very good matches on this tour so far. Like I mentioned, Renderita and Shota Umino for night 1 was fantastic. Yoshihashi and El Phantasmo. Then you go for night 2. Eddie Kingston and Shingo was a fantastic match. Jeff Cobb and Tetsuya Naito. The show for Tuesday was interesting. You had Suji and Narita go into a time limit draw. That was a very good match. Ospreay and Yoshihashi was good. Sonata defeated Shota Umino, and then Okada had the main event with ELP, which was a very good match. And then yesterday's show was another good show as well. Evil defeated Eddie Kingston. I think that was the upset of the show. This was a lot of the regular House of Torture shenanigans. And then you had Naito and Goto. That was a good match. Ishii, my guy, unfortunately lost the match to Tama Tonga in the main event. And then the best match from this show on yesterday was, like I said earlier, Shingo against Hanare. A very, very good match. So those are the matches there so far from what I was talking about earlier. But let's take a look at the matches that are coming up this weekend. Don't forget to follow along with my G1 coverage. Just make sure to bookmark ProWrestlingTranscripts.com. The matches for tomorrow, as we have it here slated, is... Excuse me 1 second. Let me pull this up. All right. It's Yoshihashi, Tanga Loa, Renderia against Gabe Kidd. ELP taking on the Great Khan. Oh, hail. Hikuleo will be taking on Chase Owens. Will Ospreay against Kenta, which should be fantastic. Kaito Kiyomiya and Shota Umino. Okada and Taichi. And Sonata and Yoda Tsuji. So that is the first one there tomorrow. That's the A and B block show. And then on Sunday, it's C and D block. That show will be from Nagano. We have Zack Sabre Jr. against Alex Coughlin. Tama Tonga and Mikey Nichols. That should be pretty good. Goto and Shane Hayes, both are very similar type of wrestlers. Eddie Kingston and Hanare. Hanare had some very harsh words for Kingston in the post-match comments yesterday, so you guys should check out that article. Naito and Yano, Shingo and Ishii could probably steal the tournament as far as best match is concerned on Sunday. We have three-headed monster for the main event. So it's not only Shingo and Ishii. We got Tanahashi and Jeff Cobb, and then David Finlay and Evil, two guys who think they're the leader of the Bullet Club in Japan. Very curious to see how that one plays out. So right there concludes our first report of the New Japan G1 Climax tournament. Like I said, don't forget to follow my coverage here on ProStateTranscriptions.com. So with that being said, it's time for the main event, and it's scheduled for one fall with an unlimited time limit. And if you're easily offended, that's a you problem, not a me problem. It's time for another riveting edition of What the Hell is Wrong with AEW. Let's start this bad boy off in a 3, a 2, a 1.
Your meat, beat 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 your meat.
I'm telling you, my time is right now. Right this minute, 2022. We're living it. My time is now. My time is right. God damn now.
Man, what intensity.
The quality of the product and the quality of the shows is at an all-time high right now. But I do know that it's a real war between AEW and WWE.
I'm still cashing fat checks, and I am still banging the hottest bitch in this entire place.
It's time for What the Hell is Wrong with AEW?
Beat
What the?
your meat,
Oh,
beat.
hey there. No. What the hell is wrong with the AEW? Brought to you by the good folks at the Wrestling Observer newsletter. It's your boy Josh here on the Hoots podcast. Let's start off with this before we get to blood and guts. Let's talk about Collision this past Saturday night. Saturday night was kind of weird for me because they had Collision, which I thought was a very good show, and then you had Battle of the Belts right after that, which was just a waste of time. Like, Tony, stop doing Battle of the Belts. It's bad. It's not worth the watch. It's not even good as main event on Ion Television back in the day. Like, just stop doing Battle of the Belts. It's just not worth the TV time to do it. The transition into Collisions and Battle of the Belts last weekend was embarrassing, to be honest with you. Not the only embarrassing thing that happened this week in AEW, but we'll get into that in just a couple minutes. But I do want to give some positivity here so we can balance it out here. But Collision, I thought was a very good show. The FTR match, 2 out of 3 falls with Bullet Club Gold was very good. Now, have I had my fill of seeing this rivalry since the fact that these two tag teams have fought each other 4 out of the first 6 episodes of this show? Yes, I have, and I hope these two get a break from each other. But the 2 out of 3 falls match was fantastic. I thought Ian Riccaboni and Nigel had a very good call of the match, and both these tag teams deserve a lot of praise and standing ovation that they've been getting over the last week. And I said it before, I love seeing FTR wrestle. It's a shame that I don't get a chance to transcribe their work as much as I want to. But that match was fantastic, and it was very good. Did it overstay its welcome? I don't know. The crowd was at the edge of their seat. The match went very long. It almost went an hour. But you can't take away from a match like that. I wouldn't even want to, even though I feel like these two teams have fought each other way too much over the first 6 episodes of the show. But all in all, it's been pretty good. And the 2 out of 3 falls match was fantastic. It's definitely one of my favorite AEW matches that they've done so far this year. So I thought that was good. Congratulations go out to Willa Nightingale, who won the Women's Owen Hart tournament, the Owen. So I thought that was cool. The stuff with Martha Hart and Tony Khan kind of leaves I don't know, a nasty feeling in my stomach, but that's another show for another time. I thought the main event with CM Punk and Ricky Starks was a good match. But again, this goes back to what I've said before with AEW. They can't get out of their own way. What could go wrong will go wrong. I get it. Ricky Starks may possibly turn into a bad guy, and you see the reaction of CM Punk. I do find it convenient that they haven't announced next to nothing for this particular week's episode of Collision. I find that to be very strange. But with all that being said, Ricky Starks did end up winning the Owen for the men's side and snatched the trophy away from Jushin Thunder Liger. So maybe things are not over with CM Punk and Ricky Starks. Maybe Ricky is going back to being a heel. I don't know. The trajectory of Ricky Starks, of where he started this year with fighting with MJF for the world title, which I'll get into in a little bit, because I don't know what the fuck Tony Khan and Chris Jericho and this crack creative team is doing with MJF's world title reign right now. But I'll say that for a couple minutes. But if you look at Ricky Starks, how he started hot against that with that match with MJF, and then having that repug feud with Chris Jericho, and struggling to go against Jay White and Juice Robinson for those number of months. It's very strange. I'm not saying that Punk had to win the tournament, but to end it that way, and also noticing how shitty Bryce Remsburg is as a referee, it's a problem. Like, him and Aubrey Edwards are the worst two offenders when it comes to like noticing that people are legitimately cheating in front of them, and they try to play off as if nothing's happening. The camera is right in front of you. I saw it with my eyes. Remsburg seeing Stark's foot on the rope. I don't know, man. I don't get it. I was saying that as the match happened, like, Rice, you better do your job and reevaluate that. He would do that for an MJF match, but I don't know. I guess the angle they wanted to go with is to give Ricky Starks this lend to him going back to being a bad guy. Cool, whatever. But for it to end what they claim to be a prestigious tournament, I thought that was a lame way to end Collision. I thought the match was good. Punk has looked fantastic in all his matches so far since he's come back to AEW. Not that this is much of a surprise to anybody, but I think he's done a very good job. And I've said it before, I think Collision is the best show that AEW produces each and every single week, and I thoroughly enjoy it. I like the feel of the show. I like the flow of the show and how it's paced. And the action's been good. And curious to see what happens next. This whole thing with Christian and Luchasaurus, as far as them being the TNT champion, that is kind of mid. Speaking of mid and Luchasaurus and Christian Cage, let's talk about what happened last night on Dynamite. As the show kicked off with Jack Perry in Beethoven number 5. Ugh. I get it. They visually buried the Jungle Boy gimmick. Hip hip hooray! Still doesn't change the fact that Jack Perry is mid. It's so obvious to see the Christian's influence in the way that match was structured with Hook. I think everything with Taz and the commentary during this feud has been good, which kept my interest in their rivalry. I've been a fan of Hook ever since he started wrestling in AEW, and I think the guy has a bright future ahead of him. I get the story that they're going with now with Jack parading around with the FTW title, and they're trying to explain its lineage. I have no issue with Jack Perry winning. I get where they're going with that. It's just, I did not care for Jack Perry. That's the problem. I still see the same guy in the ring. And more importantly, I can't take him seriously during these matches. So I want to enjoy it. I enjoy seeing Hook wrestle, and that T-bone off the apron looked pretty nasty yesterday. But even then, like, I just can't take Jack Perry seriously, and it's gonna take a while. And yeah, we get it that you're banging Anna Jay. Congratulations. But what else is there? You know the saying, yeah, this person is great and all, and then the bell rings. But when it comes to Jack Perry, yeah, you're good in the ring, but when you hold this or you start doing an interview, I want to grab my remote. So, I don't know, man. I hope this heel turn works out for him and he can make the best out of it. And I get the premise they're doing. I think Taz is doing a good job, you know, with his reactions to how things are playing out with the story. And Hook has done a very good job in the matches. Just me personally, I have not been enjoying what I've been seeing from Jack Perry for a very long time, whether he's jungle twat or not. MJF, it was right. He is a two-faced dipshit, and he has the charisma of drywall. So we go from there. We had Officer Bar Brady snooping around a conversation with Chris Jericho and Don Callis. Oh my God, Jericho and Callis are going to get back together. I can't believe this. This is bigger than The Undertaker losing his streak at WrestleMania. Oh, God. Get rid of Callis and get Jericho the fuck off my TV screen as soon as possible, please. Britt Baker had a squash match with Kayla Sparks. It was what it was. I always enjoy seeing Britt Baker on my TV team, so no harm, no foul. The whole backstage interview previewing this double ring battle royal, the Royal Rampage, or Rampage Royale, whatever the fuck they're calling it. They're doing tomorrow, whatever. So I guess whoever wins this match gets a TNT title shot. So I guess that's the shtick. And then Pockets is, I think he's supposed to be defending the title against AR Fox next week or something like that, or on Collision. I'm not really sure, but that was that. Before I get to the Mudshow in the cage, we have to talk about this NJF and Adam Cole stuff. And look, this is not a knock towards Adam or NJF. I'm a fan of both guys. I enjoy their work. I like what they do. This is a bigger issue when it comes to the presentation and what's going on right now. This blind eliminator tournament was a big waste of fucking time. You could have done a gazillion of other fucking things if it was so necessary to have MJF and Adam Cole fight FTR in Hartford, Connecticut next Saturday. It's not this Saturday, it's next week. Cool. You want Adam Cole and MJF as a tag team? That's your prerogative. Whether it's the Body Slams challenge last week where you're making your big guys look like fucking jabronis, or this week, like I said, last week, you're doing the Body Slam challenge. You're making a mockery of your big guys in your company. This week now, we have two guys. One guy that was just in the world title match, the four pillars match, right? So you have MJF and Adam Cole against Sammy Guevara and then Daniel Garcia, which Tony Khan is infatuated with. So yeah, you would think this would be a good match. You know, have some seriousness to it. But no. What we get a fucking dance off. What in the blue hell are we doing here? I get it that we need to have levity in wrestling. This is not my argument here. The double standards in all this is what really just drives me up a wall here. And more importantly, does Tony Khan realize that he has a stadium show to start preparing for in about a month from now? Yeah, you can keep touting all your metrics for all the tickets you sold for Wembley Stadium. Where's the fucking card? And if this was... we all get the gist here. MJF or Adam Cole will turn on each other and that will lead into their next world title match. Cool. But if this is the best way to go about it, that shows a lot of the creative team in AEW, where creative liberty is expressed and celebrated, right? I seen Bubba Ray Dudley dance. I seen Dad Sauce in WWE's. That's not my problem. But it goes through these twats like Meltzer and Alvarez and people that would just have a freaking conniption fit if this happened on the other show. Normally, I don't talk about what happens in WWE in it when we do What the Hell's Wrong AEW, but it applies to this context here. I'm telling you with a straight face that people would have pitchforks if this stuff happened during a WWE show. And this is the double standard shit that I don't get. Okay, you have the vignette stuff at Kowloon. No problem. Last week with the video game and the hotels with the strippers. No problem. But where's the seriousness here? Marking out for a double clothesline, doing house show spots where we're doing body slam challenges, making our big guys look like freaking idiots, having our upper tier but AEW is a walking contradiction. That's what it is. Their promotion and their fans are a weekly contradiction. AEW Dynamite is a dirt sheet version of Monday Night Raw. Repeat, AEW Dynamite is a dirt sheet version of Monday Night Raw. Oh, it's okay to do sports entertainment here, but God forbid you do sports entertainment in WWE, right? I just don't get the double standards. That's why I'm bringing this up. I don't give a shit whether or not MJF or Adam Cole are best friends. Cool. They could make anything good. That's not my issue here. You got a guy who's having a world title reign that's been rooted in comedy for the last 3 fucking months. Can we get back to the real MJF? That's all I'm saying here. Where's the real MJF? Where's the seriousness? Where's the bidding war of 2024? Where's this guy that hates everything that AEW stands for? Oh, we gotta have this guy do high school roast sessions with Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara, and Two-Face Dipshit for Double or Nothing. Now as we're heading towards their biggest show of all time, we gotta do, hey, you're my best friend, Adam. Oh, you're my best friend, Max. Oh, we're better than you, baby. We're butt buddies. We're step brothers. We're bosom buddies. Where's the seriousness? Everything I saw last night with that dance break, and it's bad enough that Chris Jericho was on commentary during this match too. Because everything right now with Adam Cole and MJF has Chris Jericho written all over it. And to anybody that thinks that Chris Jericho does not have an influence in creative, you are full of shit. All of this smelled Chris Jericho from a mile away. I saw the dance break and I my jaw dropped on how stupid it was. I'm not saying you can't have levity in the match. Like I said, I saw Bubba Ray Dudley and the Dudley Boys do the Too Cool dance. I'm not saying that's not possible. Do that shit after a match. But the last 2 weeks, whether it's the body sand challenge or this stupid ass double clothesline that people are marking out for, and now this where we're taking time away from the match and the show for a fucking dance break. Okay, we gotta wait for the predictable heel turn, then we'll get serious. even then, when we found out that these two were gonna be a tag team, oh, we had the cake to the face, right? This is the best that we got. This is the best way to get to your world title match at Wembley Stadium. The match that probably won't even main event the show now because this feud's been so rooted in fucking comedy. Oh, I'm supposed to feel sorry for Roderick Strong. No, I don't. You know who I feel sorry for? Me. I feel sorry for freaking watching this shit. That's who I feel sorry for. Where's the real Maxwell Jacob Freeman? Oh, man. Picture Adam Cole doing this on Raw or SmackDown. Oh, my God, man. But it's okay. We'll just let the double standards continue. That's cool. Then we get Mudshow in the cage. No different. I found this funny because yesterday they had the Facebook memories. So it was this time last year where it was Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston and barbed wire everywhere. So it's Shark Week. Guess what? We have the blood and guts match. We have falling thumbtacks from the top of the structure, chairs, people in Boston are chanting for flaming tables, and then Jon Moxley, the most repugnant wrestler in 2023, Jon Moxley. His best idea for the War Games match is to bring out a bed of nails. You are no different or any better than Nick Gage, and I kind of appreciate Nick Gage because he actually seems like an authentic person, and I actually buy his stick. But Moxley, if you're so desperate to be a CZW wrestler, just go be a CZW wrestler, man. A bed of fucking nails, really? That's what we're doing? And here comes Kota Ibushi. Oh, this big hype, man. Kota Ibushi. I've seen the best of Kota Ibushi. We haven't seen Kota Ibushi in a ring on national television or in an important show in over almost 2.5 years. And it definitely showed yesterday. I'm not going to knock the guy. Of course, there's going to be a rust along the way. I get it. But those punches that he was throwing out, I seen him have forearm exchanges and stuff like that with Ishii and Shingo and other guys on the roster. Yeah, Ibushi threw out a couple good mid kicks towards the end of the match, but I thought he looked like shit. You want my opinion? I thought Ibushi looked like shit last night in the Blood and Guts match. So the match ends where Pac is in his feelings. He leaves the structure. Don Callis convinces the Walmart version of Ibushi, Kenosuke Takeshita, to leave as well. They leave the BCC high and dry. And then Wheeler Useless gets choked out by a steel chain, and they had to call for the bell. One point there on Wheeler Useless. So I found this funny, right? So because Wheeler Utah, and we'll see you. Blood and Guts continues in picture. Nobody gives a shit about the guy. You keep hearing the crowd like, oh great. Wheeler, Yuta. The truck, people in the truck are like, all right, picture time, pal. Picture time. Oh, man. So, Blood and Guts is what it was. A lot of blood, a lot of dumb spots. Ibushi taking a back bump into thumbtacks after the match is over. I saw that video. I thought that was stupid. Yes, the Golden Elite won. That was very predictable. Do I believe that this feud is over? No. And really, what did last night accomplish? Outside of the fact that we know that Pac is fighting Claudio at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view on Friday. What did the match last night prove or do for any of the angles going on? Okay. We saw Kota Ibushi in the AEW ring. Awesome. Where's the story? did we really advance anything with Olivier and Don Callis, which was the premise of this fucking match in the first place? Mudshow in the cage. Boy, am I awaiting to hear the review from Jim Cornette this weekend when it comes to that match, because holy shit, was that a waste of time. Speaking of a waste of time, it's time for the Excrement impression. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live on TNT tomorrow night is another special edition of AEW Rampage live from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Let's take a look at the matches. First, we have a TBS Open Challenge as we have the Women's Champion, Chris Statlander, taking on Marina Shafir. From there, we have a trios match, which is the Acclaim and Daddy Ass taking on the team of... Excuse me one second. I gotta do this over. I forgot the matches already. Rampage is such a useless show now. I'm even messing up my own Excrement impression. Hold up, I'll find this soon. 1 second. Alright, here we go. I got it. Coming to you live on TNT tomorrow night. It's another special. Ooh, excuse me. Alright, here we go. Coming to you live on TNT tomorrow night is another special edition of AEW Rampage. Here are your matches. First, we have the TBS Championship Open Challenge. It's the champion Chris Statlander taking on the problem Marina Shafir. From there is the trios match, which features the Acclaim and Daddy Ass taking on the team of Johnny TV, QT Marshall, and Aaron Solo. And our main event is the Royal Rampage, a 2-ring battle royal. Winner gets a TNT Championship match at AEW All Out. And then coming up on Friday, don't forget, live on pay-per-view, it is Ring of Honor the Step Performance Starter from the Kira Insurance Arena in Trenton, New Jersey. Here's your matches. On the 0 Hour show, we have Action Andretti and Darius Martin taking on the Workhorsemen. From there, we see Leah Hirsch taking on Trish Adora. AR Fox takes on Shane Taylor. From there, we see Josh Woods taking on Tracy Williams. And into other matches on the show, we have Commander taking on Gravity. The Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team titles will be on the line as the Mogul MC takes on Master Wato, Rasuke Taguchi, and Leon Ruff. From there, we have a Fight with Honor match. It's the Righteous taking on the Dark Order. From there, it's a 4-way tag team match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. It's the Lucha Brothers, the champions, taking on the Kingdom, the Best Friends, and Aussie Open. From there, we have a rematch for the Owen Hart Women's Tournament. It's for the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship. It's Athena taking on Will Nightingale. In a Pure Rules wrestling match for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship, it's Katsuyori Shibata taking on Daniel Garcia. And from there, for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship, it's Samoa Joe taking on Dalton Castle. And our main event for the Ring of Honor World Championship, it's Claudio Castagnoli of the Blackpool Cuckold Club taking on Pac. I shoot you not. There's like, I think there's like 12 matches on the show if you count the pre-show. Holy moly. Holy moly donut shop. So, all right. So that is the impression there. Any of you guys interested in any of the matches I just shared out there for Death Before Dishonor? Because I sure as hell ain't not. And on that note, we pose the question each and every single week, and we'll ask all of you, what the hell's wrong with AEW?
This has been What the Hell is Wrong with AEW.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Nope.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
All right. We finally reached our conclusion here for this week's podcast. But before we do that, let's take this time to crown a brand new winner of the CLAHN of the Week.
I'm not CLAHN. 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 You're big on CLAHN. 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 CLAHN.
One more time.
I'm not CLAHN. 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 You're big on CLAHN. 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 CLAHN.
Well, I have two winners. It's a two-way tie this week. I'll make it short and brief. The winners of the CLAHN of the week this week go out to Jordan Addison, rookie wide receiver of the Minnesota Vikings. I'm sorry, in 8th grade I had to pick him, but when you act like if you conduct yourself in a jackassy manner, you deserve to be the CLAHN of the week. Why are you speeding that much before training camp? I have absolutely no idea. But the other CLAHN of the week goes out to Daniel Snyder, as we finally saw the transition from the Snyder family to new ownership for the Washington Commanders. Congratulations, Washington. You've been finally rid of Daniel Snyder. And Daniel Snyder, you, my friend, are a CLAHN of the week. If you ever have any nominations for the CLAHN of the week, we will appreciate the support as always. On that note, we're going to put a ribbon on this bad boy. This has been a fun episode of the Hoots Podcast. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. You can follow me on Twitter at the Hoots Podcast, also on Threads at the Hoots Podcast. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel to run the road to 1,000 subscribers. Answer the question like we said down below. Do you feel it's a good time to be a professional wrestling fan? Yes or no? Also, the podcast comes to you free of charge anywhere you get your podcasts from. Make sure to type in the Hoots Podcast. It comes to you free of charge, and it's easy to find as well. Also, make sure to bookmark ProWrestlingTranscripts.com as I continue my coverage of the G1 Climax 33 tournament. And I'll be having coverage of it tomorrow and on Sunday. So 2 new articles will be pumped out this weekend. Remember, folks, be the authentic product that is yourself. And remember, nobody dictates the pace of your life but yourself and the man upstairs. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. This has been episode 370 of the Hoots Podcast. And don't forget, coming up, we're almost done. We're almost done, man. We're almost on the road to 400 episodes. It's pretty crazy. So, for everybody, I'm Joshie. This has been episode 370 of the Hoots Podcast. We'll talk to y'all next week. Yes, sir.